you do if your child became someone you couldn't recognize overnight? My 15-year-old daughter Vicky started coming home late from school every day. She said it was just drama club and hanging with friends, but that didn't really add up. She'd come home with shopping bags from stores she never cared about before and started wearing makeup like she was 25. But it was the other things that really got to me. I'd catch her checking her reflection in every surface, windows, spoons, her phone screen, not admiring herself but studying, like she was looking for evidence of something I couldn't see. I found her doing laundry at midnight once. It was the third time that week, and she was only washing her sheets. She'd stand at the sink afterward, scrubbing her hands with dish soap until they turned raw and red. When I asked why, she just said she felt dirty. From what? Just stuff. She started showering twice a day, sometimes 3 times, and the water would run so hot that steam would pour out from under the door like smoke. She'd emerge looking clean, but somehow still uncomfortable in her own skin, tugging at her clothes like they didn't fit right anymore. The Thursday absences started in March. Every single Thursday without fail, she'd wake up with a migraine, but I could hear her moving around upstairs all afternoon. Her closet door would creak open, hangers would scrape against the rod, and her good heels would click across the hardwood like she was practicing for something. By evening, she'd come downstairs looking exhausted but perfectly put together, like she'd just returned from a job interview nobody told me about. Those nights, she'd barely touch her dinner. She'd just sit there pushing chicken around her plate with this blank stare that went right through me. Then came the locking her bedroom door. Not just at night, but all the time, even for homework. When I'd knock, I'd hear this frantic scrambling, drawers slamming shut, things being shoved under the bed. "Just a minute," she'd call out, and then she'd crack the door open just enough to show her face, her body blocking any view inside. Her room started smelling different too. Expensive perfume layered thick over something else, something I couldn't identify. I found a candle burning in there at 7 a.m. once. Who lights candles before school? Some days she'd bounce through the front door with new things, a designer wallet, expensive sunglasses, things we couldn't afford, and she'd be almost manic with happiness, genuinely glowing and seeming like the happiest person in the entire world. But then other days she'd slink in like a wounded animal and go straight to her room. I'd hear her crying through the walls, but when I'd knock, she'd insist she was fine, just stressed about a test, always a test. My husband David kept brushing off my concerns. "She's 15, Vivian. This is what they do. You're being paranoid." But he didn't see what I saw. The way she'd tense up whenever she came home, how she'd suddenly remember urgent homework whenever she felt like I was about to ask a question. I decided I had enough when she came home at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday. Tomorrow was Thursday, and like clockwork, she had another migraine. But this time I called in sick too. I told my boss I had food poisoning and stayed home. I sat in the living room, listening to the house breathe around me. Around 2 p.m., I heard a muffled voice, so I crept upstairs pretending like I was going to the bathroom, and through the thin wall between our rooms, I could hear her. "I didn't mean it. I'll have it done by tomorrow. I'm sorry. I'm sorry." She sounded different, younger, desperate, like she was drowning, then silence, then crying that seemed to come from somewhere so deep it made my chest ache. I wanted to break down her door and hold her, but I just stood there with my ear pressed against the wall, paralyzed. Friday morning, I tried to sound casual as she poured orange juice. "Everything okay at school? You sounded worried yesterday." The glass slipped in her hand, juice splashing across the counter. Her face went white. "What? No, I was just practicing for drama. We're doing a scene about conflict." "Which play?" I asked, even though I already knew the answer. "It's modern. You wouldn't know it." She grabbed her backpack like it was a life preserver. "I'm late. There is no drama club this semester." I checked. When she left, I followed her. Judge me if you want, but something or someone was destroying my daughter and I needed to know what. She went into a pharmacy first and came out clutching a small brown bag against her chest. I expected her to turn towards the school and catch the bus there or something, but she did the opposite. She took the bus downtown. I followed her there, having zero idea what she was doing, panic filling my chest with every passing second. When she finally got off, I was incredibly confused. We were beside my husband David's office building. Even stranger, she started walking towards it. I stared at her from about 100 feet away, parked in such a way she couldn't see me. I watched from across the street as she stopped near my husband's car, and before I knew it, he was coming out too. At first, I thought it was sweet. She was bringing him his medicine that he often forgot, but then they both got in his car. My eyes widened. They both looked around nervously, and soon he leaned into her lips. Then he kissed her. Not a stepfather's kiss, something much more terrifying. She showed him the pharmacy bag before reaching in and pulling out the Plan B pills inside. When his hand touched her face, she flinched slightly. That same uncomfortable look I'd been seeing for months. Full story on channel linked below.